Hi, everybody. Welcome to this prayerful pause of the pastor. I'm sitting in my living room, and I know the lighting is weird. Let me just slid over there. I know the lighting is weird because it's the morning. It's sunrise, and I'm out here for a reason, and that is to talk to you about rainbows. Kind of odd, maybe. It's such a sunny day, but that's why I'm here to talk about rainbows. I have, many of you know, I have inherited my parents' china and crystal and silver and all that stuff. And we have old candle holders for the table that are cut crystal with teardrop crystals hanging all around them. So when you light a candle, it's really the energy that comes off it is very wonderful. And two of the crystals were detaching over the years, and I didn't want to lose them, so I've taken them off the candle holders and hung them in my window, which I don't know if you can see from here. Yes, there you can. You see on either side of the hanging there, just two little teardrop crystals. Some of you have crystals in your homes, I know. And when the sun is right, it comes in and it hits the crystals and it throws rainbows all around my living room and dining room, adjacent dining room. And they're really lovely. We have not had them for several months now because of the angle of the sun. Because in the winter, when the angle of the sun changes, they don't hit the crystal the right way to be able to create the rainbows. However, and I don't know if you can see this, but I have one that has just appeared since I started talking with you, which is, let's see, can you see it? Just that little faint thing right there on the wall. Whoops, other way, finger, right there. It's just a little faint rainbow. And as the sun keeps rising, the angle keeps changing throughout this season. This room will be flooded with crystals. With rainbows from my two crystals. Well, why do I want them there? Oh, well, not only because of their beautiful color. What am I hitting with that? Oh, not only because of their beautiful color, but because of the energy I feel they give off and the reminder that they give me every day. Not only of the Noah's covenant, which is always good to be reminded of, but also the reminders that they give me about pieces of light, pieces of happiness, pieces of brightness in my life. Rarely do we hit a time in our lives where we have a protracted period of everything being wonderful and rainbow-ish. But we do have these little pockets, these little flashes of light, little flashes of rainbow, little flashes of color. And I also happen to associate it in my own thinking with my Celtic background of, the fairy world and the other energies, elemental spirits. So I'm reminded of all those things just when I see a little piece of a rainbow. And when they are flooding here, I could have 20 or 30, depending on the day and the season, 20 or 30 different rainbows around this room and the next, which all move as the crystals move. They all move around the room. It's really quite a beautiful dance, rainbow dance. I think that right now, when the light is not quite right, it's sometimes hard to remember how beautiful they are and where they are and what it feels like to be watching the rainbow dance. And perhaps that's true of different times in our lives as well, whether for our nation or our churches or our families. And yet the light is still there. The color, the potential for the color is still there. It just isn't realized until everything becomes aligned, until the angle of the sun is right, and it has to be just at the right angle so that it doesn't, for me, so that it doesn't get blocked by the house across the street. But it comes in there, and of course later in the season, then I'll have probably months and months where I will come out here after the sun has arisen, and I will just be engulfed in these rainbows. I think that's how it is for our lives, too. I want to take this a step farther and invite us to become the rainbows, the conduits for the rainbow light into the world. And by that I mean God's light and the spirit of lightness of being. But also to remind ourselves that we're not the whole light. We're pieces. We're pieces of those lights. And it's up to us to try to keep ourselves aligned with the source of the light. Because when we are aligned with the source, then all of this floods through us and we can illuminate the whole space around us. When the light comes through us, we become the rainbow dancers. It doesn't mean that I can control exactly where the rainbow's going to go. Tomorrow that rainbow we saw on the wall, that will be in a different position. And certainly if I rotate the teardrop prism, or I move it slightly to either side, the positions of where those rainbows appear will be different. And that's like us. Our situations change. Our attitudes change. The people we're with change. There is so much change, but still the rainbow, the light can still come through. Another thing that I like to remember is that within the light, there are all these different manifestations, if you will, all these different shades, all these different colors, so that the light of Christ comes through us, but how it manifests will be as varied as the light spectrum and all of the gradations of the different colors and hues. I mean, it's an amazing parallel to our lives when we think about it. That we not only can see the splotches of color around us, see the rainbows that God has placed in our lives, people, events, attitudes. Maybe we read something or saw something that changes where we are or that affects us. Those are all rainbow gifts. But it's not only that we can see those, it's that we can be those. We are those things to someone else. We are a rainbow presence because of the light of Christ that comes through us. So it was worth getting up a little earlier today to share that realization with you, and I hope you can take it throughout the day. Maybe find a way to remind yourself of rainbows. Find a picture online you want to just print out and stick a little picture of a rainbow there, or if you have some crystals, play with them in your windows. Or whatever it is, find a way to remind yourself that you are a rainbow dancer, that you move God's light, the light of Christ, around in the world, that it will come out in many different manifestations and hues and colors to other people, and we can't control that. We just have to accept that as the gift of God's presence in our lives. Okay? That's it for today. Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause with the pastor, a time to think of something greater than ourselves. And I am Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. We'll see you back here next time, I trust, and until then, be safe, be well, God bless, and bye for now.